Hi, Ritu. Do we start now?
We are waiting for Mr. Kanat Beg to join.
Okay.
He will join in a minute. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and then we'll start. Okay.
Дорогие участники, мы еще немножко подождем минуту, потому что ждем участников.
Adana is also explaining that we'll wait for one more minute because we still wait for the participants from the Ministry of Transport and Communication to get connected. Thank you.
Sure, we'll wait for a couple of minutes more. Thank you, Aidana.
У нас еще будут участники с главного управления.
We are also going to have participants from the main department on road safety from other regions. And I think they will get connected as soon as they can during the training.
Okay, thanks, Aidana.
Барыңыздар маска кидіңіздер ме? Кошелофит. Мало. Çok.
Этот микрофон, надо включить, микрофон работает.
Отключи.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Mr. Kanath is still on his way, so we shall start. And when he's in, we'll ask for his remarks, we'll request for his remarks. So without any delay, let's start today's workshop. And good morning, everyone. My name is Ritu Mishra. I'm transfer specialist in Asian Development Bank. First of all, I would like to start by wishing all of you a very happy new year. And thank you all for joining this online course on crash investigation. And welcome everyone to the first day of this training. This training will be conducted over 3 days, starting from today till Wednesday, 19th. I understand now most of you have already been familiar with Zoom, but please allow me to quickly explain the house rules. To help keep background to the minimum, make sure you mute your microphone when you are not speaking. If you have any questions or comments to make, please raise your hand or simply turn on your mic and you can ask the questions directly to the presenter. You can also type in the chat box or Q&A section and we'll convey those to the presenters. Also, we have simultaneous interpretation ongoing, so you can switch to Russian translation right from the globe icon, which is at the bottom of the screen. I would also like to make an important announcement to the participants that we'll be, we'll be issuing certificates to the participants with full attendance. So please try to attend all 3 days of the training. Now let's move to the agenda of today's session, which I would like to request Pilar to share on the screen. And we'll have opening remarks by Hideaki Iwasaki, who's Director of Central Western Transport Division from Asian Development Bank. And then we'll have Mr. Kanath Beg, Chief Specialist Lawyer from Road Department, Ministry of Transport, if he has managed to join in. Otherwise, we'll just ask for his remarks later. And then we'll have a quick round of introduction from the participants. So we can get familiar with each other. And then we'll hear today's content from our experts. So we have a lot to cover today. So without wasting any time, now I would like to request Mr. Hideaki-san to deliver the opening remarks. Over to you, Hideaki-san.
Thank you, Ritu. Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to welcome you all to this morning's training on CAREC's road crash investigation. And I hope all the participants are having a good start to the new year. Over the next 3 days, in 5 modules, you are participating in a crash investigation training. First of all, I thank you all for taking time to participate in this training. As we all know, road crashes happen as our road-based transport activities expand, and they will unfortunately kill many people. More than 1.35 million people worldwide, and as many as 50 million people are injured each year. And with 90% of those casualties occurring in developing countries. Road crashes are the leading cause of death worldwide for children and young people between 15 and 29 years of age. Looking at traffic fatality rates in Central Asia, it ranges from 8.7 to 18.2 per 100,000 population. And it is the 6th leading cause of death. Focusing particularly on the Kyrgyz Republic, according to the World Health Organization, it stands at 92nd out of 175 countries in the ranking of countries by mortality in road traffic crashes, 92nd is probably around the middle. But if you look at the fatality rate, 15 people per 100,000 population is on the higher side in the CAREC country. Road safety, a collective regional priority within the CAREC program's framework. And CAREC countries adopted the strategy as the Safely Connected, a regional road safety strategy for CAREC countries 2017 to 2030 at the 15th CAREC Ministerial Conference 5 years ago, or by now 6 years ago, on the 26th October 2016. This strategy was developed to be consistent with the 5 pillars of road safety from the UN Decade of Action. This is the last decade of action. The aim of the CAREC road safety strategy is to reduce fatalities on CAREC road corridors by 50% by 2030, as the 2010 as a baseline. The strategy aims to save 23,000 lives and avoid 250,000 serious injuries each year, yielding estimated savings of $16 billion per year. The strategy sets goals and targets for the region to achieve by 2030, as I said. For its successful implementation, the individual countries must also have national goals and targets and a strategy and action plan to enable these regional goals. As the process of motorization is fastening in the Kyrgyz Republic, at the end of 2020, almost 1.5 million vehicles were registered. So motor vehicle crashes continue to be a major cause of death and injury. If we want to stop this trend, we need to know the causes of crashes that are killing and hurting so many people. Crash investigation tools and methodologies help us understand how and why crashes are happening, so that we can understand how we can prevent them. This training course is designed to provide participants with the skills to attend and manage a traffic crash scene. The participants will be able to analyze the various marks left on the roadway, causes of them, and what they mean. Participants will understand how and why vehicles moved as they did after impact, and will be able to trace the vehicles back at their impact positions. Participants will gain the skills to complete sketches and scale plans and to correctly photograph scene. After completing this course, you will have the knowledge that will help you investigate traffic crashes with confidence and provide robust information on what happened, how it happened, and why it happened. This training course will have experts from Global Road Safety Partnership and ADB, who will cover different technical topics relating to crash investigation. And that will enhance your knowledge in approaching and dealing with crash investigation. Again, I'd like to thank all of you for taking time to participate in this training. And before closing, I'd like to extend my thanks to those who have been involved in organizing this training, despite the challenges in organizing this remotely. I hope that this training will give you useful technical skills in crash investigation, which I hope will lead to enhanced road safety in the Kyrgyz Republic. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Hidaiki-san. Thank you very much. Mr. Kanath has already joined this meeting, so I would like to request him to deliver his remarks. Over to you, Mr. Kanath. I think he's still struggling. Hi, Idana. Is everything okay with Mr. Kanath? I mean, has there any issues?
Yes, I'm
Well,
trying to reach him, Ritu.
okay,
Um,
no problem.
yeah,
Yes.
let's just wait for a second. Thank you.
Oh, well, in the meantime, we can start, we can start the introduction of participants, and as he joins in, we can ask for his remarks too.
Okay. Okay. Mhm.
Thanks. So before, in the list, I would like to request all the participants to give a very brief introduction, your name, designation, where you are working, and when Medin calls your name, please unmute yourself, and if possible, switch on your camera too. So I would like to request Mr. Medin to call their names because some names might be in Russian. Okay, well, all of them, Idana has translated the names, so maybe I'll quickly call them. Mr. Erlan, apologies if I pronounce it wrong. Mr. Erlan, are you there?
Слышно, да, меня? Здравствуйте, уважаемые участники данной конференции.
Good morning, dear participants of the training. I'm the inspector of the law enforcement practice and the militia service Bishkek city. I'm the major, militia major. Did you hear me well?
Yes, thank you,
Да, вас
Mr. Erlan.
слышно, вас слышно.
Thank you. Now, I would like to request Mr. Jack Shilik. Sorry, Jack Shilik.
Здравствуйте, уважаемые участники конференции.
Good morning, participants of the conference. My name is Abdraev Jakshilik. I'm senior inspector of the enforcement practice in Bishkek Internal Affairs Department. I have a colleague sitting next to me. He was not able to get connected separately, and he will introduce himself. Hello, dear participants. I'm inspector from Bishkek, Shamshiv Halimkul, again, law enforcement practice, Bishkek City Internal Affairs Department.
Thank you, both of you. Thank you for joining. Now, I would like to request Mr. Tilak to give a brief introduction.
I said that
We
we
can't
cannot
hear
hear him well.
I think he has.
Probably he has to fix his mic.
Okay.
Здравствуйте, уважаемые участники.
Good morning, dear conference participants. My name is Tilak Kerimbaev. I'm a militia captain and I'm inspector of the administrative practice of the Interior Affairs Department of Bishkek City.
Thank you, Mr. Tilak. Thank you very much. Now, I'd like to request Mr. Samagan.
Please, can you repeat the name again?
Mr. Samagan, am I pronouncing it right?
Да.
Yes, that's right. Thank you.
Здравствуйте, уважаемые участники. Я являюсь
Good
инспектором.
morning, dear participants. I'm the inspector. Again, he says all the abbreviations of the Interior Affairs Department of Bishkek City related to law enforcement practice.
Thank you, Samaran. Now I'd like to request Mr. Kuveni Bek, if I'm pronouncing it right. Sorry, apologies if I'm pronouncing it. I mean,
Здравствуйте, уважаемые участники.
Good morning, dear participants of the conference. Militia training, Suynbekov Kubanычbek. I'm the inspector of the law enforcement practice of the patrol service of Bishkek Department, Interior Affairs Department of Bishkek.
thank you, Mr. Kuveni Bek, for joining. Now I would like to request Mr. KAREC.
Здравствуйте всем.
Good morning to everyone. I'm Senior Inspector of Law Enforcement Practice of the Interior Affairs Department in Bishkek. I'm a Senior Lieutenant of the militia.
Thank you, Mr. KAREC. Mr. Nurbek, please.
Доброе утро, уважаемые участники конференции.
Good morning, dear participants of the training. I'm the inspector of the law enforcement practice, militia lieutenant.
Hello, Mr. Nurbek. Thank you so much for joining. Now, Mr. Eljar.
Здравствуйте, слышно? Меня зовут Эльзар.
My name is Elzar Esenbekov. I'm a senior inspector of the law enforcement practice in Bishkek City, militia lieutenant.
Thank you, Mr. Eljar. Thank you all of you for introducing yourself, and good to see all of you. Well, I saw that Mr. Kanath had joined, but again, he got disconnected. So I don't know, what do you suggest?
Ritu, yes, Mr. Kanat Bishev, he has problems with the connection, internet connection. So probably he will try to reconnect once again.
Okay, so shall we start with the presentation?
I suggest we continue with the training.
Thank you very much. So when Mr. Kanath would join, we would request him. So in the meantime, let's start with today's presentations. And now I would like to ask our experts to introduce themselves, a very quick one, and then proceed with today's content. Mr. Artur and Mr. Mark, over to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Artur Zawadzki. I'm originally from Poland, and I'm really honored to deliver this training for you together with my colleague Mark. And before we start, I think that it's quite important to introduce ourselves, because we would like to share with you the information, what is our background, what we were doing in the past. I have to remember that we have simultaneous translation, that this is my one request to interpreters, that if I'm too fast and if Mark is too fast, Mark is really fast since he's English speaking man. So just give us a hint that we are too fast and you have problems with translating the information we are giving. So, okay, before we start our presentation, and I would like to give the floor to Mark to introduce himself, because I would like to combine my introduction with some information from my background. So Ritu, if we can give the floor to Mark, it will be perfect. Thank you for that moment.
Thanks, Arthur.
Thanks, Arthur. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to this training. Like Arthur, it is a privilege to be able to spend time with you all as we talk about crash investigation and go through some hopefully interesting and useful information. So for me, I was a police officer for 30 years. I resigned from police 5 years ago and set up my own company doing road safety consultation. But my role in police was mainly in traffic enforcement, road policing, as we call it. And in there, I specialized in traffic crash investigation. So I started out in a small provincial city, attending all of the fatal and serious crashes, and eventually promoted into our national headquarters and had oversight of crash investigation nationally. So was able to implement some policies, bring in some processes, so the whole country did the process of crash investigation the same. Also spent time in our national calibration laboratory, so I got to look after the radars, the drink driving equipment, the heavy vehicle weighing scales, and the measuring equipment the serious crash unit used. So I think I had the best job in police because I got to do some technical scientific work in crash investigation. I got to shape how New Zealand Police carried out crash investigation, and I also got to play with all of the new toys for enforcement. So yeah, very lucky. And my continuing consulting work lets me do much the same. So I'm sort of doing what I did in police, but I now do it for myself. So yeah, I look forward to the next 3 days with you all, sharing some information. Thanks, Arthur. All yours. And that picture I don't have on my presentation.
Yeah, okay, I will share the slides very briefly. Ritu, do we have somebody else to start the speech, or still some technical issues and we should start the presentation? We have one hand raised. Yeah.
Yes, we have one hand raised from Mr. Al Murad. So I would like to request Mr. Al Murad to take the floor. Mr. Al Murad, can you hear us? I think he's having some technical glitches. So, well, Arthur, I can't see Mr. Kanath yet. Maybe he's still struggling to join in. So I suggest continuing our presentation, and we can ask and we can request him if we are able to, I mean, in the coffee break, before the coffee break. Or
yeah, no problem. Whenever he's available, you can ask us both to stop and we can give the floor to him. So no worries at all.
Thanks,
okay.
Thanks.
I will share the presentation now. Hope you can see it. I will be using two screens. One is in Russian and one is in English. So, but I hope it won't be a problem, and it will be easier even for translation for our interpreters to translate. We start with the module 1, but as I told you, this is Mark on the pictures, and we should start with that slide when he was talking, but you could see him online. Those are slides about me, and as I told you, I would like to share a bit more information about myself. I'm a former police officer from Poland with a bit more than 20 years in service. I started as an ordinary police officer doing my daily police job, stopping cars and checking drivers. And then I was promoted to the office. I was also crash investigator, but only for 1 year. I decided that crash investigation is not exactly the job I would like to do. And then I moved to regional police headquarters. In the meantime, I became head of traffic department of quite a big city, which is Łódź. It used to be the second, the biggest city in Poland. Nowadays is the third one, because people moved from Łódź looking for a better job. And then I got a chance to move to the capital city, to Warsaw in Poland, and to join the team in the National Police Headquarters. And this is why you see a lot of pictures, and I did it, I put them on purpose. You see 3 pictures with me being abroad. Why I put those pictures? Because this is what me and Mark are doing now. We are giving you some, I hope, useful information about the situation abroad, because at that time that I started going abroad to get some knowledge and information, I was lucky because we as a Poland, we joined the European Union, and having the programs within the EU, we had the opportunity to travel a lot and to get the knowledge and the information from colleagues who were in a better position. I mean, they were a bit more developed as we, I mean, Polish police officers. So you can see from the picture, the one on the bottom on the left side, that even at that time we were looking for some speed devices, and that visit was in Norway. You know probably that Norway is a country with no budget problems. So for them it was quite easy to buy this kind of devices. On the right side, you see my one visit in Germany, and on the bottom is one from France. So I was traveling a lot, and I'm not telling you just to boast about my travelings, but about the possibility to check how the situation like in the more developed countries, because there is one saying, there is no need to kick down the doors which are opened. If some countries, they already using good practices, and they use already some devices, so you can get the information from them. This is why I was traveling a lot and getting the knowledge, getting the information, and then trying to introduce this in Poland. Of course, it doesn't look that so well. I would say that whenever you get the information and you think that it's perfect and you can introduce this in your country, then the politics came, and then you see the problem that you need to change the legislation to introduce this in your country. There is maybe not political will. So you face a lot of issues, a lot of problems to develop the police. But of course, I'm always saying that even facing those kind of problems, we cannot stop as the police officers. So we cannot stop doing our job, and we cannot let people kill each other on the roads only because we faced a problem. So yeah, I was traveling a lot, but then suddenly I stopped because I was offered the position of head of road traffic department on national level. So yeah, I changed my position, and this is the last position in my service. So I quit it. I retired as a head of traffic department on a national level. And then I moved to the city hall in Poland, in Warsaw, which is a capital city. And I started with engineering, but since I'm not an engineer, I started assessing road organization projects. And believe me, it's a very good experience, because I had a chance to see how it works between police and road authorities. I mean the cooperation. And to be honest, it doesn't look well, because this kind of cooperation is quite rough, I would say. And when I started working for City Hall, being already a retired police officer, I heard from my police colleagues from Metropolitan Police that finally they told me, finally we will have a person who understands our needs. I mean, police needs. And believe me that this cooperation is crucial for road safety, and I know that it doesn't work well everywhere. Of course, there are some other issues with that cooperation, because of course Warsaw has no problem with budget. I mean that the city has no problem with budget to rebuild some roads and to introduce some solutions to improve road safety. But when you go somewhere into the country, I mean in Poland, and you see small cities, small villages, there is a real problem, because those local authorities, they don't have enough money to introduce the newest solutions for road safety. So then police officers, they very often they say, you know, there is no good cooperation, because we apply for some changes, and actually we don't have these changes because they say that they don't have money. And this is, of course, from one point of view, understandable, because if they don't have money in the budget, they cannot do anything with the problem. So yeah, I think that my experience would be good, even sometimes sharing with you some information about this cooperation, and just stopping talking about myself, just want to thank you for taking part in that training. Of course, this training is mainly for crash investigators, but also touches some other important issues, as strong partnership, and this is why I started talking about cooperation. of course, touches some issues about policy and strategic planning. So I'm pretty sure that even some of you might be well experienced. You will get some new skills and knowledge that will help you in your daily job. And for those who don't do this kind of job on a daily basis, will help to understand how demanding is crash investigation, and therefore how important might be your support as a possible partner to your colleague's job. Okay, I know just one word. I'm lucky because already many things were said in the introduction at the beginning, so I don't have to repeat this. Of course, the agenda is quite tight, I would say, but we will try to stick to the scheduled breaks. And of course, remember that if you have any questions, please use the chat box. We will try to answer them immediately. Being online, of course, you can prepare some questions on the next day. And just before starting the content, one more information, because at the end of this training, there will be a short test, but please do not worry. This test, I would say, has no significance to you in that meaning, in that sense that this is not about passing or not passing the exam. It's rather that you can test yourself, and it's for us a kind of guidance in terms of possible changes to the program. So do not worry. On Wednesday, when you receive the link to the test, it will be online test. So you will receive the test on your emails, and then you will be asked to fulfill the test. Okay, so some more information about GRSP, because I'm from GRSP. Is the full name is Global Road Safety Partnership. We, as a partnership, we are hosted by the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. And you can ask, why is it like that? Why Red Cross? So we were founded in 1999 after the World Disaster Report, according to which it turned out that road accidents are a very serious problem in the world. So then, the Red Cross decided to have a partner that will be dealing with road safety, since it's a really serious problem in the world. What we do? We are building sustainable partnership between governments, business, and civil society. We do projects in partnership. We also contribute to the United Nations Decade of Action for Road Safety 2021-2030, and Sustainable Development Goals, which are dated 2030. And just to explain, what are the Sustainable Development Goals? They are kind of blueprint to achieve a better and more sustainable future for all. They address global challenges, including those related to poverty, inequality, climate, environmental degradation, prosperity, and peace and justice. The goals interconnect, and in order to leave no one behind, it's important that we achieve goal and target by 2030. So,
Hi, sorry, Arthur, if I may interrupt.
yeah, no worries.
We have Mr. Kanath with us, so maybe we can ask, I would like to ask him to request, to deliver his remarks. Yeah.
No worries.
So we have Mr. Kanath Beg, Basif, Chief Specialist Lawyer from Road Department, Ministry of Transport. Hello, Mr. Kanath, are you there?
Я хочу на русском? Все, хочу на баскетбол, она очень любит.
It seems, yes, they're talking now to each other.
Добрый день, нас слышно?
Good morning, good afternoon.
Здравствуйте. Слышите, да,
Good
меня?
morning again.
Здравствуйте, Рита.
He confirms whether we can hear him. So I apologize. We had some technical problems. We were not able to get connected, but we got reconnected. And of course, it's a great pleasure for us to see you. And I'm sitting together with my colleagues from the Ministry of Interior. And again, first of all, I would like to congratulate you with the new year and wish you all success and well-being. And as we talk about this topic, we have to minimize road crashes, and everything is in our hands. This means we have to enhance, improve our work to eliminate road accidents. And road accidents depend on all of us, on government agencies, on drivers, on citizens, on white public. And here a great role is played by identifying and eliminating the causes of road crashes. And when investigating road crashes, and my colleagues can tell you the same thing, that we have to be very objective in conducting investigations, and we have to identify causes and reasons for the road crashes. And there could be numerous factors, and mainly those which happen are the fault of the drivers. But of course, we should not forget about the road condition, because it plays a very big role. And therefore, my colleagues, when investigating road crashes, they're doing their best to travel to visit the road crash site in order to identify the reasons, the causes in situ. And of course, the Ministry of Transport and Communication provides its support in identifying the causes behind the accidents and try to eliminate them depending if it pertains to the Ministry of Transport. The online mode is not that comfortable because some people can fail to get connected. And I remember the time when we had CAREC trainings in the offline mode, and they were very successful. And Kyrgyzstan hosted such workshops, seminars several times, such as developing road safety strategy for CAREC countries. And we also participated in the events in other CAREC countries with representatives from Ministry of Interior. So based on road safety strategy for CAREC countries, which you mentioned before, jointly with the Ministry of Interior, we developed the road safety strategy for the period of 2022 to 2026. Right now, the strategy is being adopted, is being approved, and therefore I believe all government agencies will carry out their work on this issue in the short-term run. I would like to wish success in our work, and I wish our training is fruitful and as they say, is very interesting to all participants. And I have Maksat, the colleague sitting next to me. I would like to give the floor to him now. He's representing the Ministry of Transport. My name is Maksat Jumabayev. I'm an engineer of the PIC project implementation group, which supports Asian Development Bank projects in the Ministry of Transport. I would like to greet all training participants. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Kanat and Mr. Moksha. And no problem at all. We all understand the shortcomings of virtual mode, and it happens. So, well, I would also like to thank you, Mr. Kanat Beg, for highlighting the importance of road safety. And indeed, it's a very important issue and it's serious attention. So we should definitely try to engage more, to enhance road safety in the country. And as you said, definitely holding more face-to-face trainings are more practical and more we can learn more. But as the situation, we all know about the COVID situation and it's getting worse day by day. So in the meantime, we just thought of holding this virtual mode, but definitely we'll try to organize one after the situation improves in face-to-face. Yes, and so yeah, thank you once again very much and Happy New Year to you too and all of you. So now let's start today's presentations. Mr. Arthur and Mark, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Ritu. Yeah, we are facing the problem of COVID. We are living now in this strange situation, but of course we have to adjust to the situation. It would be best, of course, to deliver this training being face-to-face, and then we can answer a lot of questions, practical things, to explain practical things. But believe me, because from the beginning you can think that the training will be quite boring because there will be telling just some not maybe interesting things, but believe me, maybe my part will be such kind of presentation, and I'm aware of this. But I think that whenever we talk about safety, we have to explain and to discuss why is it important. And the part which Mark is going to deliver will be very interesting for you. There will be a lot of mathematics, a lot of details, how to behave, how to collect some information from crash scenes. So I'm pretty sure that it will be quite good training, even though it's delivering in an online way. Just one thing, I'm not sure that you can see this. This is a mag, you see, crossing borders to save lives. This is a very precious mag for me because it's from my time when I was a police officer, and I was traveling a lot. So precious cap, and I'm drinking coffee today. since it's 5 a.m. in Poland, but it's not a problem. Let's start our training, or let's come back to our training again. The full screen, yeah. What is our vision? Our vision is a world free of road crash, death, and injury. Of course, we know that even in the situation that all the drivers will behave in a perfect way and they will obey all the rules, probably we are not in the position to avoid any crashes. So it would be an ideal situation in the world that there is no crash and no crash deaths. But of course, even knowing this, that it is a very hard job, it doesn't mean that we, as I told you at the beginning, we can let people to kill each other and we can do nothing with it. So our mission is the sustainable reduction of road crash death and injury with a focus on low and middle income countries. Where we work, you can see from the picture from the map, we work alongside private sector, civil society, multilateral and government partners to improve road safety conditions in over 40 countries throughout the world. In dark blue, you can see active, and in light blue, it's a former. But of course, it can change in any situation because it depends on the countries which want to join the program, the project. What we do? We do leadership and management, focusing on organizational capability. Whenever it's needed, we advise on a high level. We are developing an evidence-based approach to enforcement and, of course, delivering training like speed enforcement training. We show and we say how to use the newest devices, how to behave on the road, to stay safe on the road. So we do a lot of such kind of trainings, coaching, mentoring, and technical assistance to support officer development. For example, this kind of training as crash investigation. We also try to implement the trainer model to ensure sustainability. What does it mean? That we, of course, operating for a longer period of time in a country, we are trying to pick up the people who are willing to become a trainer, and then we spend a bit more time with them to teach them how to behave, to give them the best knowledge, experience, and then they become their own trainers in the country. Of course, we deal with media, advocacy, and communication. We deliver special training, how to behave in front of the media, how to prepare the campaigns. We advocate sometimes with the legislation. We support for legislative enhancement, improvement. And then, of course, if it's possible, we provide technical assistance for resource procurement through adoption of international best practices, breathalyzer, speed detection devices. And to be honest, in some countries, even we are delivering the devices to police officers. For example, nowadays in 4 African countries, we are delivering the newest speed devices as a part of the speed enforcement training. So once again, our aim is improve and enhance road safety knowledge and assist to strengthen capability of enforcement agency relating to road safety risk factors and crash situation in low and middle income countries. What we expect that those agencies will be ready to increase road safety and then to reduce crash deaths on the roads, putting in the nutshell, of course. So, international enforcement success. Having relevant road safety focused legislation with appropriate penalties and strong, consistent enforcement. Those are points which are necessary to achieve success. Ensuring enforcement is data-driven and planning is based on credible evidence and intelligence. This is why during this training you will hear about the need of collecting the data even during the crash investigation, because of course looking for some crucial information for investigation, it doesn't mean that you can leave the part of collecting crash data, because they are really connected, and both are very important for police job. So continuous targeted enforcement campaigns, speeding, helmet and seatbelt wearing. Those are the most important risk factors. Ongoing evaluation of enforcement actions and outcomes. And of course, you can achieve success combining enforcement with sustained education and public awareness campaigns. And countries who have achieved and sustained a road safety result have done so by implementing effective road safety policies, including innovative and effective enforcement strategies, which are evidence-based and intelligent-led. Of course, I'm pretty sure that you are aware that only doing the enforcement, it's not enough to increase road safety, because only combining the efforts, education and campaigns and enforcement is how to say, a way to get success. So today's discussion is understanding the importance of traffic crash reporting and investigation. What crash reporting rates mean, and why a large percentage of serious accidents go unreported. The importance of accurate crash data to analyze crash patterns with a safe system approach, and understanding crash severity definitions. What is the global status? It was said at the beginning, 1.35 million road traffic deaths each year. So one death every 23 seconds. 3,700 people are killed in road crashes every day. Can you imagine that those people are not coming back home from the work? It's absolutely unbelievable. 100,000 suffer life-changing injuries in road crashes every day. Globally, a staggering 40% of road traffic deaths are work-related because we are using on a daily basis our cars to get to work. And road traffic deaths are the leading global killer of those aged 5 to 99 years. And we call it the disease of the young. So we can say that road trauma is not evenly distributed. Some regions, some countries experience dramatically higher road fatality rates. The hidden reality you can see in the iceberg on the right side. 15 million likely to die as a result of road crash between now and 2030. Those are absolutely huge numbers. 500 million likely to be injured as a result of road crash between now and 2030. Estimate US dollars for 24 trillion in crash costs to the community up to 2030. And we can say, and you will of course see from the training, that road crashes are mostly predictable and preventable. This is why we are obliged to connect data. Without data, we are not ready to plan our police actions. Just to tell you that WHO prepared an application that whenever you need some data, you can go to this report, and you can download it from the App Store, and you will find the information from global status report. You can see from the screen now, sorry. You can see some information about road safety in some countries. The most important part is on the right side. I will use the pointer. The best situation is now in Switzerland, and quite good situation is New Zealand, where Mark comes from. But you can ask, where is Kyrgyzstan? So you are here, and it was also mentioned in the beginning. And just since I'm from Poland, just to tell you that Poland is here 9.7. Of course, it's not the newest data, but of course, data is available from your country, so you can easily measure how the situation looks like in 2021. The information from the WHO report looks like that. You can find about each country status report, and of course you can find the report about Kyrgyzstan, and here you see the information that WHO estimated the rate per 100,000 population is 15.4, so you are here. And what is quite important from that report, and what will be highlighted a bit later in the training, that we have different data. One which is reported from the country, and here you can see that in 2016, you as a country, you reported 812 road fatalities, crash fatalities, and WHO estimated that it was in fact 916. So there is a huge difference between the real life and the reporting part. So Mark will be talking about why is this important. So global road safety focus. Goal number 3, ensure healthy lives and promote well-being for all at all ages. And target 3.6 is by 2020, half the number of global deaths and injuries from road traffic accidents. And you can see 2020 is already behind, and we did not achieve the goal. So we have to go further. Goal 11, make cities and human settlements inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. And then target 11.2, by 2030, provide access to safe, affordable, accessible, and sustainable transport system for all, improving road safety, notably by expanding public transport with special attention to the needs of those in vulnerable situation, women, children, persons with disabilities, and older people. So a lot to do if in front of us. Normally, in the situation of delivering the training face-to-face, there will be group discussion, but since it's the online, I think there is no room for this kind of discussion. But of course, whenever you have any question, please put it in the chat box. I just finished my part, which might look boring, but now Mark will start his part, and going deeper and deeper, his part will be more interesting. So Mark, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Arthur. Can you see my screen at the moment?
Yes.
Awesome. I'll just catch up to where I should be. Okay. A quick run through some more sort of policy and strategic information before we go to coffee. After coffee, we'll start talking about crash investigation detail itself. But this, again, as per Arta's presentation so far, just gives you information on the global situation and where things are heading around the world. It's good to know that as a country, individually, we are not alone in the battle we have with road safety and trying to prevent deaths and injuries. So yeah, we'll just go into a little bit of information. Like Arta, I had 2 screens going, so if I look a bit confused, it's because I'm losing track of what slide I'm actually on. But for a start, a road crash is the end result of a chain of events. So a crash is usually caused by more than one factor, one thing going wrong. There's a combination that together cause the crash to happen. If we take one of those factors out, the crash may not have happened. So that's our focus for crash investigation. We look into crashes, determine all of these factors, all of these links in the chain, and from there, just try and determine or discover what can we do to break the chain. Where do we start? What is the core problem? How do we address it? So a quick example, a young man puts his motorcycle into the motorbike shop for repair. Something's gone wrong with his motorcycle, so he needs to get it fixed. He drops it into the repair garage on his way to work in the morning. He gets to work and his boss is giving him a hard time. So he's having a bad day. Nothing seems to be going right for him. After work, he goes back to the garage to collect the motorcycle. Because he's had to walk there, he's now running late. He gets to the garage and the mechanic tells him how much the repairs have cost, and it's much more expensive than what he thought. So now he's his mental state is not good. He's not a happy man. He is running late. He has to get home to his wife and family. He has had a bad day at work, and now he's just been handed a large bill to pay the garage for repairing his motorcycle. So he's trying to make up time. He takes a shortcut on his way home. He doesn't go the usual way. He's using the road that he doesn't use too often at all. He isn't concentrating on the riding. He's thinking about his boss that he doesn't like. He's thinking about how is he going to pay the repair bill. And he's thinking that his wife is not going to be happy that he's so late home from work. He's traveling faster than he should be. He's on a road he doesn't know, and he enters a bend. And as he comes out of the bend, he finds roadworks blocking the way. He loses control and he collides with an oncoming vehicle. It's a large collision because the motorcyclist is traveling fast. He kills one of the occupants in the car and injures two of them. So because of that, he's now also in trouble with the law. He has committed an offence and he is now having to face legal action for causing the death and injury of other road users. So if we think about that event, it's a series or a chain of events that have all come together. We have his mental attitude. He's angry, he's stressed, he's not concentrating on driving, so he's distracted. He's driving on unfamiliar roads, he's driving too fast, and he's caught out by a sudden change in the road environment. So all of these things have combined to create that crash event. If we took something out, say for example, he was expecting the bill to be as large as it was, so he wasn't worried about the money, he would have a bit less pressure, so he would perhaps be driving a little bit safer, a little bit slower. Things like that can change the outcome. So it's thinking about these sort of factors, how they all contribute to crashes, that what crash investigation is about. We won't do this bit. So that's the nuts and bolts of a crash investigation. How does it fit strategically? If we think about road safety, and Arthur's told us about the global problem, the global disease of mobility that is fatal and serious injury crashes. Sweden invented a strategy called Vision Zero, probably close to 20 years ago now. And that was a vision where no one would die or be seriously injured on their roads. So it was a very big, bold statement. But what it did, it placed responsibility for road safety on everyone who interacts with or uses or designs or builds the roads. So it's no longer a problem of the police force. It's no longer just a problem of government or just a problem of the road construction crews or even just the people who use it. Everyone has a part to play. And it's built on 4 primary pillars: safe roads, safe speeds, safe vehicles, and safe people. So we're going to spend a bit more time going through these pillars. But the idea of this system is that it reduces your exposure to risk. So it manages risk for road users. Where it can, the system prevents road crashes from happening. If crashes do happen, it reduces the severity of those crashes. So instead of people dying and be seriously injured, we bring the crash severity down to minor injuries or no injuries at all. It also explores the consequence of the injury. So improving post-crash response, having better ambulance services, having better health systems, better hospitals, and available to road users to get treatment quickly. The term the golden hour, your chance of survival increases dramatically if you can get professional medical treatment within an hour of suffering an injury. So it's bringing in all of these aspects. And like I said, it's not just any one agency's responsibility, it's everyone's responsibility. And in New Zealand, we had that catchphrase when we introduced Safe System. We just had a sticker that simply said road safety is everyone's responsibility, just trying to communicate that everyone has a part to play. As a road user, we would expect that you comply with the laws, that you are sober, that you understand the road rules, and you are capable of driving a car properly. So there's all that responsibility placed just on the user themselves, let alone the people who build it. Okay, so the principles sitting behind Safe System. Number one is that humans make mistakes. We all do it. We're only human. And one of the things that being human means is that we occasionally do make mistakes. Even if we're thinking carefully about what we're doing, we can still make mistakes. So the system needs to be aware that we humans are going to do silly things, make some mistakes, and the system has to be able to cope and manage the forces of impact. Crashes are hugely violent events, which we can see by the number of deaths and serious injuries. So if we can find a way to manage those impact forces, that will reduce the severity of the crashes. And we do that using clever road design, safe vehicle design, things like that. And also putting some onus back on the drivers to comply with speed limits, to have licenses, be able to drive properly, to drive when sober. So reducing alcohol or other drug intake before driving. They sit behind this whole Safe System approach. The system designers and the operators are ultimately responsible for how safe a road transport network operates. So we need roads that prevent head-on crashes, that prevent people from driving off the side of the road and striking trees or poles. It's about protecting the roadway to confine vehicles to the roadway so that when something goes wrong, they're not going to end up crossing the centre line into oncoming traffic, going off the road and hitting trees, poles, or other people. It's separating out and managing the risk that way. And just remember the key components. We have our human. So it's what is driving Safe System. It's the humans, the fact that we humans make mistakes and that we are vulnerable. We're not designed to have impacts at the speeds we drive at. The humans proper mode of transport that's walking or running. We can run in short bursts, 20, 25 kilometers per hour. We have a body that can cope with that speed of movement. Our vehicle standards, the NCAP or Euro NCAP safety ratings, 5-star cars, they have the built-in safety features. They have the crumple zones, or the crush zones. They have the airbags, the seatbelt pretensioners. They've also got the active safety equipment, so the forward-looking radar, the way to keep you in your lanes, emergency braking. There's a number of different systems being built into cars now, just to try and prevent the crash happening in the first place, which is your active safety components. If a crash does happen, the passive components come in. That's your airbags, your seatbelt pretensioners and things like that in the vehicle design. And the road. Are there barriers separating on conflicting traffic flows, separating traffic from pedestrians and cyclists? It's just that complete approach to design from an entire network. Biggie, safe speeds. Without speed, we wouldn't have crashes. Vehicles have to move to crash. And like I was talking about the human running speed, our cars, we have speed limits of maybe 30 kilometers per hour in town, 80, 100, 120 out on the highway. Humans can't manage the forces involved when you have an impact at those speeds. So we have to try and ensure that vehicle travel is at a safe speed. So the design of the roadway should reflect the speed limit that is applied to make sure that if something goes wrong, the speed is such that the energy and the impact forces can be managed so as not to cause death or serious injury. So it's from that simple little circular diagram, that one there, it actually drives a very complicated process around road safety. But that model shows how it all works together. And at the center of it is people. So it's very much people-centric. Design being the system is there to protect people, which is the approach we've taken with it. So where to start for police? The biggest thing for police is evidence-based enforcement. So this is about understanding what behaviours are causing crashes, where the crashes are happening, and what time or season or day are they happening on. So we get to understand where are our problems, where is the crashes happening that are killing and injuring people. Let's focus our enforcement effort and attention to those areas. As a police officer in New Zealand, we're a country of, well, when I was still enforcing, 4.5 million people. And we had about 900 traffic enforcement staff. So the ratio of enforcement officer to population was huge. So we couldn't be everywhere. We couldn't be saturating the roadway so that people would be too scared to offend. We didn't have enough presence on the roads to generate total deterrence. So we focused our activity on where we could make the best difference with the limited resources we had. And it has made a difference, and we continue to do that by focusing on our problem areas, or our black spots as we call them, and by looking for the right sort of behaviour. We know through our crash reporting, we understand what behaviours are causing the crashes. So, excuse me. So we target those behaviours. So if it's drink driving or speeding, we will have drink drive operations or speed enforcement operations at the time when the crashes are happening. So we're going in there and preventing the crashes. The impact of that is the activity creates a ripple effect, and you see a change in behaviour around the area. So actually the entire area starts to have a decrease in crash rate. And it's a matter of sustaining that. So we do that. We would look at what day of the weeks where, so we had risk clocks, risk calendars, and our entire patrol plan was based on where is the risk, how many staff do we need to send to that location to deal with it. The data analysis part of it is pivotal. Where does that data come from? It comes from traffic crash reporting. That's what we're in the business for. Traffic enforcement is there to prevent crashes, save lives. So to do that, we need to understand what the problems are. So through accurately completing crash reports, we build up that risk picture. New Zealand has an electronic map, and every crash that happens and is reported to police is captured on that map. So if you imagine a map on a wall and you stick a pin in that map for every crash, and then at a glance, we can see where our clusters of pins are, or our black spots, or we may see a certain piece of road has pins all the way along it. So it tells us we have a problem with that road. It's what we call a grey route. There's problems along that road, where people has a high number of crashes. So again, all intelligence driven, that intelligence coming from predominantly or mainly from the traffic crash report completed by police officers. And the crash reporting is a little bit problematic. We have issues in New Zealand still with injuries being underreported. There was a lack of clarity of definition. What is a serious injury? What is a minor injury? Location of the crashes, whereabouts did it happen, the time of day. And what we saw was we were tending to underreport crashes in the country. One region and we're a country of two islands, a North Island and a South Island. And the South Island area decided to really interrogate the quality of its traffic crash reports. So what would happen, an officer attended a crash, submitted a report, the supervisor would look at it and say, head-on crash in an 80km/h area with no injuries. That doesn't sound right. He would talk to the victims, and what they discovered was at least 30% of underreporting injuries. So cops trying to make an assessment based on what they could see without talking to the victims in detail, without talking to the doctors managing the patient treatment. So it generated a big gap in what the statistics said was happening and what was really happening. So that gap in reporting. And that happens around the world. So, and looking at what's happening globally. Oh, sorry, Arthur, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I have to behave like a time warden. Since we missed our coffee break, I think we should stop for a while. I know that you are very, rushed to deliver the training, but I think we should give our participants 15 minutes to have the coffee break to refresh a bit.
Perfect.
If you don't mind, of course.
Yeah. No, let's do that. Let's take 15 minutes, everyone. So we'll see you back here at 5 to 11 your time. So 10:55. See you back and we'll carry on. Awesome. Thanks, Arthur. Good call.